Ideas flow, but never last.
Today's topics: from chaos to calm, healing deep wounds, boundaries matter, community heals, and thrive beyond trauma.
Rambling on, no straight lines. Welcome to my busy mind.
Hello and welcome to episode 29 of Ramblings of a Busy Mind. And I still have a cold, as you can hear, because basically we're doing back-on-back recordings today. And I have with me McKenzie Lay, who I met last week. Well, it's going to be a little bit later when it's going to be shown, but I met when I was presenting at the Survivor Summit from Basic Studio. And McKenzie is somebody that has a story to share, and I would love for her to take it from there and share in the beginning how much she wants.
Well, honestly, it started when I was a little kid, dealing with trauma from my father, who didn't really know how to control his anger issues. Not being able to see my mom, just back and forth between family members, caused a lot of stress on me.
So you were divorced family, or how?
They weren't married. It was mainly they had me when they were both 18. So they never got married, and I was just bounced between them. When my mother got deployed overseas, I stayed with my father. And then when he got deployed overseas, I stayed with his mom. And that's a whole story in itself.
So you basically had no home base.
Pretty much.
How old are you now, McKenzie?
I am 22 years old.
A lot to carry for such a young person already.
Yeah. I was mainly the adult, you could say, as a kid around my siblings. I took them to school. I picked them up. I made dinners, breakfast, lunches sometimes during breaks. I wasn't allowed to have a childhood. And I feel like that has reflected on me now. I am childish now that I should have been back when I was actually a child. So it has regressed me in a way to where I feel like I'm still 10, 11, even 12 inside my body and my head, where I should be acting like a 22-year-old.
Well, one of my boss said once, he said, you have the three ages, the one on the paper, the one you behave like, and the one in your mind. And I'd say mine on the paper is 54. In my mind, and the way I behave sometimes is between 16 and 25, if at all. But the point in that is it really holding you back, or you say regressing? So I'm wondering, because we can be childish and still be grown-ups. Do you experience the joy of being a child, the discovery, the explorations, the going out, the curiosity of a child? Or is it more the tantrums and stuff like that?
It's a little bit of both, in all honesty. Both my parents were in the Marines, so I grew up with the Marine expectations of hide it, don't let anybody see. So when I should be voicing my emotions, I had to stuff them down. And I'm going to admit, stuffing them down has kind of hurt me in these years that I've, 18 to now. I get very upset. I was diagnosed with bipolar disorder. It could have something to do with the way I was raised. But I think I still get excited with little kid things. And, it amazes me the things you find and the things you learn about that you were supposed to learn back when you were younger, and now being in your 20s, it's like, oh, I didn't know about this. And you have my boyfriend who had, a good childhood. He goes, I had that when I was 17. Just just looking at him like, okay, and
Do you feel it holds you back? Or do you feel you come in a place and with the people now that you're set so supported that you can move forward and come into your own?
um I don't think it does. I think, it's a learning curve that I'm trying to get past.
Hmm.
But, we don't stop learning even till, we're laying on our deathbed. Because every day it's a new journey, it's a new experience
Hmm.
that you can live because you never know what's going to happen or when it's going to happen.
So you're from what I hear, your motto is more a happy, you're tending towards happiness. You're not wallowing in what has been. You're moving forward. You're stepping out of yourself, out of that little child, or you pull that little child out of the quagmire and bring it into the light. That's what you're doing right now.
Yep.
That's pretty cool and pretty awesome. And I'm glad for you that that's happening because a lot of people my age and older have not done that yet. So kudos to you to step forward and see where you're at and making sure you're in a place that you need to be. So you just got a good news that you shared with me, and I know your boss, Randy, because she had me on her show, the Survivor Summit. So share with us.
Um, so Randy, she is my adoptive mom. I adopted her. Um, and I expressed to her how nervous I was to come on to your podcast today. Um, and she gave me the reins to Basic Studios. So we are revamping our website. We're going to be having a bunch of self-help books. Um, I'm thinking about doing a book club
Mm-hmm.
once a week,
Mm-hmm.
and then group meetings.
So we have to explain a little bit. Basic Studio was hosting the Survivor Summit, which a, a summit for PTSD, or just help me out here. What's the exact title?
Survivor Summit basically is, it's not just about suicide awareness, it's about everything encased into one. Would it be PTSD, like you said, or any other mental health? Um, I don't want to say illness because illness is a very
Challenge.
vague term.
It's a challenge.
Uh,
It's nothing bad. It's just something that's happening, right?
yeah, it's nothing bad, but everything that is encompassed into stuff like
Yeah, and
that.
the topic neurodiversity, which was a challenge for me. And what else does it do? What else does Basic Studio? Sorry.
You're fine. Um, Basic Studios, what we're aiming for it to be is a place where people can come and receive the help or guidance where they can't find support anywhere else they look. What we are aiming to do now is create a little website that has articles of how to help somebody that you love through what they're going with. and support for the people who don't know what they're doing or how to help. Because people don't quite realize that, yes, the people with the mental health diagnoses, they go through a lot, but the people who support them go through just as much. We're going to be having outreach phone numbers. So no matter what you're going through, we'll have a list of numbers. We are also going to have a book club every week. I have picked out the first book already. I had just started it, but so far it has helped me. I don't know if you can see that, but it's called The Body Keeps the Score.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to do this. I've been taking little notes and it's actually been helping me. And we're just gonna have, group meetings every month, be it a support group or whatever you want to call it, just somewhere where people can vent without being judged and looked upon.
You guys are located in the States. Where exactly in the States?
Me, I am in Oregon. Randy is in Washington, and we're all based on the Pacific West Coast, some in central states, and some on the east states too.
Like I'm on the East Coast, but in Canada. I have something similar on my website. That's burnout resource. But I've done PTSD work too, and mental health challenges in all kinds of areas, because in 2014 I said to the world and to the universe, I will work with mental health challenges. And some of my best friends are challenged. And what I came to see out of my own experience, because burnout is also a mental health challenge, basically, I can relate
very much so.
Yeah, and as soon as you give the other one the space and time to be as they are and as they need to be, and don't expect, don't judge, healing can happen. But as soon as you put like boundaries, and like as somebody who's dealing as a caregiver or carer with somebody with a mental challenge, as soon as you give too strict boundaries and too strict expectations, and judge them for how they are, which often happens in families, there's no healing happening. And on the contrary, it goes in the other way. It goes into more depression. It goes more anxiety, because there's expectations that cannot be fulfilled. While if you can open up and say, here, I am here for you, as we call it, holding the space. I'm here for you if you need me, but otherwise I'm staying out of it, right?
And I think that is one of the reasons why we want to have a separate section just for the people who have loved ones and are going through the challenges of, well, if they're upset or depressed, how can I help them, make them not feel so alone? Because what we don't realize is, me specifically, I am somebody that has a mental illness, multiple. And I know some days it's hard for my significant other to help me because he doesn't know how to help. And when he tries to help, bless his heart, it's sometimes not helping because it is the wrong way of doing.
Caring too much can be as bad as not caring at all.
It can be.
And having like, and then that's why I see too, is like giving people the tools that they know how to cope, not only with themselves, but with somebody, with a loved one, and vice versa. So it's a learning curve for both sides that has to happen. It's not just, here is your medication, go, right? It's, I'm here, I'm I'm willing to listen. I'm willing to listen without giving you good advice because my advice might not work for the other person. Right? And sometimes I find myself, sometimes it's easier when I can rant or ramble at somebody. I don't even want to hear anything they say. I just want to get it off my chest and I want to be heard, but I don't need the advice. And then they come with advice and then I'm pissed.
Yeah,
Not helping.
I've been there. That's happened in the past, but my boyfriend, he's learned specific cues that I give off personally when I just want to ramble.
Mm.
When I got the news from Randy that I was taking over CEO, I freaked out. I asked her, I was like, "Are you serious?" And she goes, "Yes." And so I went and got myself coffee, my boyfriend coffee, and us some food. And I just came home and we had a little date on our bed and just ate and drank coffee and talked about what was going to be happening. And he just sat there smiling at me as I was rambling on.
But on the other hand, you're seen. You are valued. You are trusted. Is there anything better?
Honestly, no. And I think, you know, once I do get Basic Studios website up and running and those monthly meetings started, I think other people are going to be valued like I am. Because in this world, in this time, it's hard for everybody. And we all need to stick together.
Yeah.
Because if we don't, it's just going to be everybody against each other, and that's what we don't need right now.
I think that's one of the things that we've learned the last few years. Community is the only thing that really supports us. We cannot be like the soul, what did I say? The Lone Ranger. Not even the Lone Ranger was alone. Let's say it this way. He had Tonto. So we need community. We are our nature is not based to be the hermit or the combat fighter that's like the person fighting by itself and against everybody. We are a community, and the community, if you have the right community, everything falls in place. Everything becomes, because in the right community, you have people who see you and who reach out before you even say something deeper. You just have to do once, and I've seen that in my community lately quite often, that I just said something not even pertaining to the struggles or whatever was going on, and somebody said, "Call me." And then I called, and it's what's going on. So it's they see you as you are, they value you as you are, and they're not expecting you to be perfect. And they realize there is something going on and that you might need help, but you might not want to talk about it in front of the whole group, right? How did you find a man that's so understanding?
Kind of jumping the gun relationship. I was scrolling Facebook, signed up for Facebook dating. He popped up. We both matched with each other. Got to talking, and 3 days later, he drove in this redneck Jeep, mind you. Totally unsafe. He drove in the snow from where I am here in Oregon all the way up to Washington and picked me up, and I've been with him ever since. It's been rocky and bumpy, but I mean, all relationships have bumps in the road. You just got to find your footing, and you have to find each other, no matter how far apart you have gotten with your significant other. No matter how far you get apart from your significant other, if you love them with your whole heart, you will always find a way back to them.
Mm-hmm.
And
How,
that's what,
sorry,
no, you go ahead.
how good are you, or how strict are you with setting your boundaries and making clear what your limits are?
Um, I am currently working on that. Growing up, I wasn't really allowed to have boundaries of my own. Um, and I was always helping everybody else before me. Um, but I'm learning. I'm getting a lot clearer. Um, if he asks me something and he says, or and I say no, and that's the end of it. I used to tell him, "Oh yeah, you could go do this, you could go do this," but now it's just like, no, I don't feel comfortable with you doing that. I don't want you to.
Is he encouraging that?
Yes, he is.
So you have a
He's
very,
realized that he needs to encourage me saying no because I always tell him yes.
so you have a very understanding boyfriend.
Sometimes.
Does he listen right now?
He's not listening right now. He's at work, but I bet you he might have me show him this video later.
Don't make me laugh. It it's nice to see that you at see, I never had a relationship because I was never in a place that I was able, starting 25, that I was able to have one because I couldn't deal with myself.
Hmm.
Um and now being single for so long, it's kind of hard to find somebody because you're stuck in your ways. It's not so easy to overcome that. But I love to see how you grow into your relationship and that you have found somebody who is that supporting of you, and that like kudos to him to make the effort, because not many people make the effort, unfortunately. Especially.
Especially with the type of diagnoses that I have.
Mhm.
I've been in relationships once they find out, why I'm so depressed all the time or why I go manic all the time. They're just like, okay, bye, see you. He has stood by me through a lot of things, a lot of mental breakdowns, a lot of just staying in bed underneath the blanket, not wanting to move. Um, he he was going to leave for work. Uh, it was St. Patrick's Day 2 years ago. He was going to leave for work, and I was already at work. Or he was leaving for his friends, either one. And I keep getting message after message, and I'm at work, so I'm not looking at my phone. I finally look at it after the 10th time it buzzed, and it said SOS, family emergency. So I'm like, okay, that's time where I step out because I'm a person who loves family. Uh, I step out and I call. It was my mom's best friend. Uh, my mom and I don't have a relationship, but she called me and she said, "Have you talked to your father?" I said, "No." And then my dad calls as I was talking to her. So I hung up with her and my dad asks me, "What you doing right now?" Sitting in my car. And I put her back on the phone and they didn't want to tell me until I got home. But she's like, "You need to tell her." At that point, when they're being so secretive, it's like, okay, what's going on? What happened? And it turns out that my grandmother had passed away on St. Patrick's Day. Um, she was the rock of the family. What sucks is nobody had told me, but that was her last wish, was nobody to tell anybody. She was always one of those headstrong women who doesn't like people fussing over them, especially when they're sick. And I left work, went home, and he was just standing there by his car and just hugged me, wouldn't let me go. So He's been there for my ups and downs. I will definitely say that.
Did he have any prior experience with mental health challenges? None at all. Kudos. That must be a very balanced person because most have to deal with themselves so much that they cannot deal with other stuff, or they're afraid of what happens when you deal with somebody with mental health challenges. But to dive in like that is like admirable.
It's been difficult for him to understand why I'm so needy all the time, but he's starting to realize what's going on.
Well, you're together since more than 2 years, as I just heard.
3 years in December.
If he doesn't start getting it now, then I guess he's not getting it at all.
Yeah, if he doesn't start getting it now, then I don't know what's going to happen.
I'm very happy for you to have found your way, not only to cope, but to thrive, which is admirable because how many people of us, again, and I was the same. I was not thriving. I was surviving until I found my way out of my quagmire. But for you to be so young and to step out of there and to shine your light and to do that with so much grace and still the sparkle in the eye, even so you had so many struggles, I admire you. And I'm happy that you came here to share your story. And I'm I'm gonna watch what's gonna happen with you, where it's going, and maybe next summit I'll be there again and we can have another chat. But I'm really happy for you, and I'm really grateful to have you here and to have heard your story, and maybe somebody else has some insight out of there. And we're gonna post, I don't know, do you want to post your information or do you want to post Basic Studios more to people, for people to reach out if they want to reach you?
As of right now, we could do Basic Studios. The website isn't going to be up until about October 13th. Gives us some time to work out all the kinks and everything. But if you could post my information.
Yeah, and Basic Studios has a website, a Facebook page too, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
Well, then we can add that too, so they can have a reach out point. And
sounds good.
Sure as soon the website will be up, you will post that on Facebook anyway. Right?
Yep.
So thank you so much. And if you feel drawn to converse with McKenzie a little bit more or get in touch regarding Basic Studio, because I think it's a good resource for anybody who needs the help. Reach out. And McKenzie, thank you again, and all the best for your future.
Thank you.
Thoughts are racing, spinning fast. Ideas flow, but never last. Waves of wonder, thoughts untamed. Nothing ever stays the same. Rambling on, no straight lines. Welcome to my busy mind. Ideas fade, all the shine.